Aloha Nui Patriots, it's Shariraye with the verse of the day. August 25th, knowing this, that our old man is crucified with him, that the body of sin might be destroyed, that henceforth we should not serve sin, Romans 6:6. As Paul here uses the word sin, he is actually speaking of the sin nature. He here tells us that when we accepted Christ, the body of sin nature, might be destroyed, that henceforth we should not serve the sin nature. The word destroyed in the Greek is kataigio, which means to make ineffective. So, at conversion, the sin nature was not obliterated, but rather was made ineffective. What is the sin nature? At the fall, man's nature became that of sin. In other words, everything that the unredeemed person does is towards sin and of every description. The gospel declares that man is absolutely ruined by sin and wholly unable to restore himself to God's favor by his own ability and strength. A false gospel teaches that man is not wholly ruined, that by self-culture he can merit God's favor and secure his own happiness. There is only one way that the human being can properly address sin, pure and simple: he must die. That's why Paul said, "For he who is dead is freed from sin, from domination by the sin nature," Romans 6:7. This death occurs at the cross of Calvary, hence the apostle saying, "Our old man is crucified with him." The death of which we speak can occur no place else. This is the reason the cross is so very, very important, actually, the only means by which this horrible problem can be properly addressed. This death is obtained by the believer simply evidencing faith in Christ and what Christ did at the cross. The old man then dies, which refers to what we were before salvation, with a new man then rising with Christ in newness of life. Unfortunately, unredeemed man tries to address the sin problem in many and varied ways other than the cross. He tries to address it with education, money, government, etc., all to no avail. Worse yet, many believers attempt to do the same thing. They try to address the sin nature, i.e., the problem of sin, by ways other than the cross. It simply cannot be done. Some try to address the sin nature by denying its existence. Others try to address it by struggling with it on a day-by-day basis, all to no avail. The sin nature was conquered at the cross, and it remains conquered, but only as we maintain faith in Christ and what Christ did at the cross. We were crucified with Christ, and in that, the sin nature was made ineffective. We were raised with Christ in newness of life. That position is maintained by continued faith in Christ and the cross, and by no other means.